The air inside the substation hums, thick with ozone and the phantom scent of old cigarettes clinging to the concrete. Dust motes dance in the single beam from a jury-rigged neon tube, casting a sickly green glow on the hand-labeled vinyl records stacked high. On the console, the war surplus transmitter ticks with the stubborn pulse of a forgotten clock. Anansi's custom meters blink, a steady rhythm against the static.
Black Star Pirate Radio.
Across Toronto, the dial sits at 70 Fahrenheit under clear. Winds are moving from the west at 2 miles per hour. Welcome back to TogeeVision, where self-worth is structural, not contingent. Our first signal, a typhoon in China, leaving thousands stranded, exposing critical failures in civic architecture.
Nanning reports 11 dead, with 280 millimeters of rain in 12 hours, forcing tens of thousands onto rooftops across the Guangxi region. These are not just casualties of weather, but of rapid, unregulated construction in flood-prone areas, leaving residents directly exposed. The immediate, official response often defaults to reactive military-civilian rescue operations, which are resource-intensive and limited. One viable alternative is preemptive, mandatory relocation programs for at-risk populations. A truly sovereign architectural move, however, would be to immediately initiate pilot programs for localized self-sustaining emergency hubs powered by renewable microgrids designed to be above anticipated flood levels.
The media feed often frames this as an isolated natural disaster, complete with sensational warnings about snakes, which obscures the systemic issue. Provenance reveals consistent natural forces. The variable is how human design respects those forces. We must discern the architectural signal in disaster, recognizing the lineage of ignored flood warnings and inadequate urban planning. Who carries this next? Every city planner and developer who chooses profit over dignified, resilient community design.
Patching in a caller, the critical thinker. You're on the signal.
Togee, this feels like we're watching the same movie over and over. What's the true cost beyond the immediate death toll of these repetitive failures to build safely? Who really pays when cities are built on borrowed time?
Somewhere, a capacitor creaks under the load. Hot metal. The console keeps its lights and its secrets. That's the core question, and the cost is always borne by dignity and trust. We keep that focus as we pivot. Our next signal. Lindsey Graham's recent eulogies from Israel and Ukraine highlight a contentious legacy, one where global influence often clashes with local sovereignty.
Debrief like designers. Log the friction, script a small rule bend, and try it live.
Senator Graham received public tributes from Benjamin Netanyahu, referencing his unwavering support for Israel, and Volodymyr Zelensky, noting his crucial assistance to Ukraine. While these highlight geopolitical alliances, tens of thousands of civilians in Gaza and the Donbas region are directly exposed to the consequences of policies championed by figures like Graham, where state-level military support often overshadows the urgent need for local consent and humanitarian protection. One alternative path: condition military aid on verifiable improvements in civilian protection protocols and adherence to international law. Our chosen next move: reevaluate foreign policy frameworks through a lens of human dignity and localized governance, demanding provenance in international aid.
The language of unwavering support projects a specific geopolitical shadow, a narrative of power not rooted in local provenance or the lived experiences of affected populations. This is a story woven by distant powers, not by the people on the ground. We must integrate logic and emotion to see beyond the official tributes, recognizing how such alliances can override the internal compass of sovereignty for entire regions.
Call is on. Go ahead.
So, is this unwavering support about genuine partnership, or is it a form of architectural control where our influence dictates their structure? What's the actual benefit for the average person caught in these conflicts?
Hold that thread. Next signal. Jana Armstrong's former partner appears in court charged. It's about asserting the autonomy of all parties, not just the powerful. That discernment is key. Our final signal. Jana Armstrong's former partner appears in court, charged with murder after her body was found near Toowoomba, a stark reminder of domestic architectures gone toxic.
Jana Armstrong, 47, went missing in December 2023, with her body tragically discovered in February 2024 near Toowoomba, Queensland, leading to her former partner, David Charles Longman, 47, being charged with murder. This case follows a documented history of domestic violence, exposing the profound vulnerability of victims, particularly women like Jana, to systemic failures in protection. Approximately one woman per week is murdered by a current or former partner in Australia. One viable alternative: implement mandatory, immediate risk assessments and intervention orders upon first report of domestic violence, backed by dedicated funding for victim relocation and support. The sovereign architectural move is a structural shift towards a civic architecture that proactively asserts the dignity and safety of individuals, establishing non-negotiable legal and community frameworks for consent and protection, moving beyond reactive legal charges to preventative, dignifying support systems.
The narrative often personalizes these tragedies, but the deeper cultural weave shows a failure to structurally uphold an individual's sovereign autonomy within their own home. It's like a community ignoring the persistent cracks in a foundation until the whole building collapses. Who carries this next? Every community leader, every neighbor, every legislator who can choose to rebuild with unwavering consent and dignity as the core architectural principle.
Signal coming in. Patching in a caller. Go ahead.
This isn't just a private tragedy. It's a breakdown in our shared civic space. Beyond the devastating personal loss, what's the unquantified cost to a community when this pattern of violence isn't broken? Who really pays for the failure to protect people like Jana?
The cost is immeasurable, eroding the very fabric of trust and dignity. But recognizing that cost is the first step toward building anew, towards inner and civic architectures that truly favor consent, provenance, and dignity. That discernment is our compass.
Prototype the fix.
Black Star Pirate Radio.
Continue the signal at TogeeVision.com. Tune in, Sparks and Stories, Gig Passport.